Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you didn't struggle too much with the homework last night with the word problems, but we'll go over that on Wednesday. Today, you guys are going to be looking at writing equations of lines in what we call point-slope form. Alright, so let's quickly review what formats do we know for a linear equation. Well, we've got the first one that you guys learned, which is slope-intercept form. And that one looks like y equals mx plus b. We've been working a lot with that one lately. The second one that you guys know is called standard form. And that one looks like ax plus by equals c. And the important thing about these forms is what they're best used for. Remember, slope-intercept form, you need two things: the slope and the y-intercept. Now, standard form gives you two things fairly simply. It gives you the x-intercept and it gives you the y-intercept. Now, today we're going to learn a format called point slope. And it looks like this. Point slope form is y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. And the nice thing about this is you need two pieces of information. You need the slope and you need one ordered pair. One ordered pair. And that's x1 comma y1. Now, as you notice, you've got an x and a y. Just like in our other formats, there's an x and a y, there's an x and a y. Nothing gets plugged into those places. Those are the coordinates of future problems. Alright, so this again is called point-slope form. I highly recommend you write that down somewhere. Alright, so let's go ahead and see if we can get comfortable using this format. Remember, it's y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. Okay, so in this first example here, we're going to write point-slope form of an equation for a line that passes through -2 comma 0 with slope -3/2. So we still are going to write y minus y1 is 0 equals m, which is -3/2 x minus y. Oh, x minus x1, excuse me, not y, which is -2. So then we can simplify this a little bit. That's y equals -3/2 x plus 2. We don't need the minus 0 because that's obvious, and we can keep change the x minus -2. Now, if I were to graph this, and this is going to be a sloppy graph, sorry kiddos. If I were to graph this, I'm going to start with the ordered pair, -2, 0. And then I'm going to rise and run my slope. So down 1, 2, 3, run 2. And I would do that in both directions, making it way neater than that, but you've got the general idea. Alright, let's do another one. So we've got the second example. Write the point-slope form of an equation for a line that passes through 4, -3 with a slope of -2. So it's y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. Let's plug these in very carefully here. This is y1. This is x. And this is m, the slope. So I'm going to write y minus -3 equals -2 x minus 4. Now, this one doesn't have as much to simplify, but we can do y plus 3 equals -2 x minus 4. Now, the thing that you notice about this format is in order to graph it directly from this format, you need to be very cautious. Your ordered pair is 4, -3. But notice how it appears in the equation. It looks like a -4 because the format has subtraction signs. So that means it's the opposite of whatever is written. So it looks like a -4, so it's going to be a +4. It looks like a +3, so it's going to be a -3. That's how you have to read it to be able to see what the point is. So same thing, we're going to graph this real sloppy here. We've got x and y coordinate. We've got our ordered pair, 4, -3. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, down 1, 2, 3. There's our first point. And then we've got our slope, -2, 1. So we're going to go down 2 more and run 1. So we're going through that right about there. Again, guys, super sloppy, but you understand the idea. Alright, so let's see if we can dive into this a little bit deeper. You might be thinking, why do we need another form? Well, let's go back to the different formats that we have. We've got slope, intercept, standard, and point slope, and we can record that one in here now. Oops, x minus x1. And remember, this one requires that we have one point, and it can be any point, and slope. So the nice thing about this is when you're trying to write an equation, you don't always have to have the y-intercept. You can have just any one point. So that homework that I had you doing the other day could have been a little bit easier. Let me show you. So there's 2 ways to do the same job. This is a problem that we had for homework on Friday night. We could do it using slope-intercept form, which would look like finding slope 4 minus -2 over 3 minus 6, which gives us 6 over -3, which simplifies to -2. And then we solve, pick our favorite point, and we plug into y equals m x plus b, and we solve for b, -6 plus b, add 6 to both sides. Looks like b is going to be 10. So y equals -2x plus 10. I'm going to show you how to do that with our new format, point slope format. So we're going to do the first thing's the exact same. We've also got to find slope. So slope is -2. And then we're going to use y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. So I'm going to write y minus my favorite point, 4, equals -2 x minus 3. And I can show you that these two things are equivalent by just simplifying it a little bit. So y minus 4, distribute, negative 2x plus 6. Add 4 to both sides. Y equals negative 2x plus 10. They're the same. Look at that. So, two ways to do the same thing. Which do you prefer? Now, obviously, you need to be fluent in both. You need to understand both. But sometimes you can pick and choose. Now, here is an even more important skill. Being able to write an equation into different forms. This is kind of what I was demonstrating over here. I changed from point slope into y equals mx plus b. So let's do some examples of that. So we've got here slope-intercept form. And we need to change it into standard form. Okay, so I need to get the x's and the y's all on the same side. So the first thing I'm going to do is subtract 3/4 x. So that's y minus 3/4 x equals negative 5. Then what's really important is that you get rid of all fractions. So I need to multiply both sides and everything on both sides by the denominator of whatever fraction I have. That'll give me 4y minus 3x equals negative 20. Now the last step is that that c can never be negative. So I'm going to multiply it by a negative 1. So I'm actually multiplying everything by a negative 1. So my final answer is 3x becomes positive, right? And negative 4y equals 20. All right, let's write from point slope form into standard form. So I'm going to distribute the 2, and I want all of the x's and y's on one side and all of the numbers on the other side. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides. That gives me y equals 2x plus 11. I need to subtract 2x from both sides there. Alright, so again, y, oops, wrong color, y minus 2x equals 11. Not too bad, right? Alright, let's try this one. Write 3x plus 2y equals 6 in slope-intercept. That's y equals mx plus b, so I want the y all by itself. We've done this before. First thing we're going to do is subtract 3x from both sides. So we get 2y equals 6 minus 3x. Still trying to get y all by itself. So we're going to divide by 2. So we get y equals 3 minus 3 halves x. Alright, let's do that last one here. This one again is going into slope-intercept form. A little bit tricky because this time our slope is a fraction. We need to distribute first. Let's see if I can do this in my head. I bet I screw up. Okay, y minus 5 equals 4/3 x minus 4 times 3 is 12 divided by 3 is 4. So far so good. Okay, slope-intercept, so that means the y alone. So I need to add 5 to both sides. So y equals 4/3 x plus 1. That's slope-intercept form. Alright, we'll do more practice with this. I just want you guys to start getting the feel of going back and forth between the different forms. It allows you to see different things and graph things easier. So your homework is 1 through 9 all. But remember, since you have a sub today, at the end of class you need to turn in your homework and your notes. Again, turn in your homework and your notes by the end of class on a separate sheet of paper, not in your notebook. Good luck and do your best. I'll see you guys tomorrow.